I still have a feeling of what we would call wide-eyed amazement that I was actually there. No, I still, when I do it, it all comes back to me how exciting it was. Well, rock and roll, I tell you what, it's not that. I love rock and roll, but I just didn't want to be going away for, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, sitting in front of a stage, photographing a band, playing night after night, the same thing. I mean, it just, I'm afraid it gets terribly boring after a while. Remember that I was lucky because I had a job where I could roam around. I was photographing other things going on, not just the concerts. But I wasn't obsessed enough to want to be a rock and roll photographer. I mean, of course I could have probably made a career of it, but I just thought I'd be away too much. I didn't want to be away from home all the time, and I just wasn't that interested in doing rock and roll photography. There's only a certain amount you can do, really. I mean, Anna Leibovitz, she became a portrait photographer. She started off doing rock and roll, but she didn't do many concerts. Really, for portrait shows what she liked.
You worked with her as well?
Yeah, I worked with her on this one tour, yes, yeah. The thing is, if you're traveling with a band like the Rolling Stones, you're obviously staying in the very best hotels. But night after night being in a strange hotel, because usually you're moving every day. I mean, there's some times you're somewhere for 2 days, and maybe twice for 4 days. But it's quite soul-destroying being in a strange place, and all these corridors, these hotels are sort of immured. They're silent. The hotel corridors are all thick carpeted, and they're silent. You go into the rooms, you can't open the windows because they're all sealed, and it's silent air conditioning, and it's quite a lonely place. That's why a lot of people always have the televisions on in their rooms all the time. And Keith made a big thing of trying to make his room homely by draping scarves everywhere and putting up personal stuff in his room so it wouldn't feel like a sort of dead place.
So this sort of isolation, it speaks of isolation.
Yes, well, I mean, now you know why rock and roll people get very wired and then they throw the television out the window. it's because they can't open the bloody window. Yeah. The first time, it was an incredible job to have, and I didn't want to screw it up. And so I thought it was best to stay alert, and not get wasted every night and try and do the job, So I have to admit I was quite careful, and it was very funny, this girl Lisa Robinson saying I was the only person she knew who'd been on a major rock and roll tour who hadn't come out with a drug problem. First of all, Keith is always portrayed as a completely wild, crazy figure. In fact, he's absolutely straight as a die. He doesn't, he's a very straight man, he's very clever, he's very nice, very friendly man. I was very nervous of him because he was so cool. But actually, when I got to know him, I really liked him because he was just a very nice, and he's a nice guy, and he's very clever, very well read, interesting to talk to, interested in lots of things going on. So underneath that craziness, he's very straight. And Charlie Watts is like that too, very easy to talk to, very easy to get on. Ronnie is just like a child, he's like a big baby. And then Mick is, Mick can be very charming, but he can also turn it off, just like that. Very, you have to be wary around him.